Hi, welcome back to Vedic Living. This has been an eventful summer with the eclipses and the Mars K2 conjunction and just a lot of things going on around the world. And this past weekend was the Dallas Vedic Astrology Conference, which was called the Future of Astrology Conference 2018 here in Dallas. It was my very first conference, and I was also grateful to have a speaking engagement in this conference. It was a grand success, 3 days of like-minded astrologers all coming together in one place. We had really famous, popular astrologers from around the world. It was an international conference, and they shared a lot of information. There was the most explosive 2019-2020 predictions that were shared in this conference, and also some very good information, very in-depth classes taken by famous astrologers from around the world. This conference was an amazing opportunity for beginner astrologers as well as experienced astrologers, and I think it was a lot of information that was shared. There was just an overload of all kinds of Vedic astrology concepts. So everybody totally enjoyed it, and the reason I'm talking about it right now in the past tense is because we have the recordings up for sale. I'll have a link below my video. If you click on the link, it'll take you to the website where you can buy the recordings, and I don't think you'll regret it because there is so much information in those recordings, especially the 2019-2020 predictions, which have never been shared before. So I hope you enjoy it, and let us know your feedback once you watch it. Now, continuing on with our discussion on the various houses of a Vedic astrology chart. Today it's the turn of the fourth house. We already talked about the first, second and the third houses, and it's time to talk about the fourth house. The fourth house is the first moksha house. So it's exciting that we are starting on the moksha houses. It's the house of foundation. It's the house of the soul. Whatever roots you at the deepest level, whatever grounds you. Fourth house is also, it brings everything to a full circle by addressing old age, endings, and our final resting place. When we talk about home, we also have to talk about the final resting place, which is our final home. So that's the fourth house too. While the fourth house could refer to the physical home, which is, the brick and mortar home, it's also important to know that it refers to the home of your soul, the inner consciousness. It's where the self is centered, balanced, and grounded. When we say, I am home, both physically and psychically, that's the fourth house. It's where the self feels comforted and nurtured and like a little cocoon, like you're completely happy in this place. It's the natural house of the sign Cancer, ruled by moon. So when we say our home, our foundation, where does it start? It starts with the mother. So that's the reason why, fourth house is an indication of the mother, and it's also the natural fourth house, which is the sign of Cancer. The fourth house is our ancestry. It's our roots, our heritage. It's also funny to note when the baby is born, the fourth house is right below the earth. So it signifies symbolically the roots, the deepest point of the chart, the softest area of the soul. And I say the softest because malefics in the fourth house can cause a lot of problems in life, because it's the house where we are naturally comfortable and happy, and malefics there indicate that we are not comfortable there. It signifies the outcome of the third house, like we discussed, the second from the third house. The fourth house is the second from the third house. So it's the amount of satisfaction and content we feel in our lives. It's the first moksha house, like I said. So it's also the place where the native wishes to be peaceful and find rest and rejuvenation. So it's indicated that all the places we find this, like our house, our car, our sanctuary, or wherever we worship in our house, and ultimately our inner self. All these places are places we feel comfort in. So all that is signified by the fourth house. The natural fourth house, like I said, is ruled by moon. So this is where all our deep emotions reside. Psychologically, the fourth house indicates the quality of nurturing and love that the native received as a child. So most of the time, this is the mother's love and emotional security. So by looking at the fourth house and the dignity of the planets that rule it, or the planets that are placed in it, we can kind of make an assessment about the childhood life and the childhood home of the person. And now comes the fun part. Let's take a look at some examples, chart examples. Before I go into the charts, I want you to remember that we are only looking at these charts for the fourth house. A lot of other aspects and planetary positions should also be taken into account before we make a correct prediction or a conclusion from a person's chart. But for the purpose of an example and just for the purpose of looking at the fourth house, we look at some charts. So let's go into it. Sun in the fourth house. What is the sun? It's our ego, it's our identity, it's basically our soul. A person with sun in the fourth house would have everything that is concerned with the fourth house. All their efforts are driven towards developing their immediate family. It's driven towards developing their ancestral roots and their heritage. So their entire ego, which is the sun, is defined by this activity. So they take a lot of pride in their family, their immediate family, and their entire sense of security, like I said, is defined by this family. So also sun in the position of the fourth house aspects the 10th house, because fourth house is directly opposite from the 10th house. So sun aspecting the 10th house, what does that mean? It means that these natives easily get to government positions, right? Or they are very active in politics, or they are in positions of power, because that's sun in the 10th house. Also remember, we need to look at the sun's dignity and the aspects the sun could have, or any possible afflictions that it could have. So we are only looking at this from an angle of sun in the fourth house. We are not looking at all the other aspects that the sun could have. Okay. Example is moon in the fourth house. The native will be strongly connected to his mother, because fourth house is mother. Their sense of security or their sense of comfort and foundation comes from their mother. Afflicted moon here could indicate some problems with early life home. In Carl Jung's case, the moon means it's a serious affliction. So his mother was mentally unstable, and she had to leave him when he was only 3 years old, and she had to go live at a mental asylum to take care of her the mental problems that she was having. And so that's again, the reason I'm talking about that is just by looking at the fourth house moon, we cannot make a prediction. We have to look at its dignity. Okay, so here that's what we were trying to look at. Now, what happens when this person grows up? We talked about the childhood and the mother, but as an adult, their life is flavored by the fourth house inception that they had as a child. So the nesting instinct is strong. They're introverted and they like to nest. They like to withdraw into their home, and that's where they feel the most comfortable. And when difficulties arise, when there are problems outside, they immediately withdraw into their shell, which is their home. They are introverted, like I said, and they are very emotional. Aspects again, fourth house is aspecting the 10th house, as we talked about it earlier. So over here we have Moon, which is aspecting the 10th house of profession. He was a psychiatrist, and Moon rules the mind. So that's Carl Jung. Mercury in the fourth house. What is Mercury? It's intelligence. It is wit, well-read, knowledge. What does this tell us about the native's home as a child? With Mercury in the fourth house, it's very evident that the family that this person was surrounded with were just, they were a bunch of smart people, because he has Mercury in the fourth house. His father was a lawyer. His mother was on the board of directors for an organization. She was an educator. Mercury, education, intelligence, it all comes together, right? Early life home was very mercurial. As per Wikipedia, Bill Gates' family encouraged competition in the house. There were rewards for winning in competitions. What is more mercurial? That's competition. That's Mercury. What does this do in their adult life? They continue to find satisfaction and a sense of comfort and security in mercurial pursuits. What does Mercury signify? Technology, IT, computers, communication. What did Bill Gates do? Right? So that sums it up. So what I'm trying to say is, when we look at a planet in the fourth house, we can assess what their childhood home and family life was like, and we can also extrapolate it to their adult life. And then by looking at the fourth house planets aspecting the 10th house, we can also make predictions about the profession. So we looked at Sun, Moon and Mercury in the fourth house. Similarly, there are other planets in the fourth house. There could be Venus, there could be Mars, Saturn, Jupiter. All of them will have certain outcomes in the fourth house. So there you go. That was a short description of the fourth house and a few examples of charts of celebrities who have planets in fourth house. I will be doing some more detailed videos about Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, etc. in the fourth house. I want to do them as separate videos so that I can give you more information and more example charts. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to post the fifth house video next week. Fifth house is a very important house. It's the house of Purva Punya. It's our past life credits. The karmic credits coming into this life for fruition. So it's a very exciting house. It's the first trine. Actually, it's not the first, it's the second trine, because we already talked about the first house. So it'll be an amazing video, and I hope you guys come back to watch it. So for now, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.